Hi, and welcome to GenFriends. I'm Cheri Hudson-Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy, and with me tonight is, I don't even know who's with me tonight, Melissa Barker. It's been a long week, guys. Melissa Barker, archive lady. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, how are y'all doing?
So good, good. And we have Mary Kircher Roddy from MKR Genealogy. How you
Hi there.
doing?
I am great.
And we have Christine Woodcock, and she is from Genealogy Tours of Scotland. Hi, Christine.
Hey.
It's so good to have everybody here. So what we thought we'd do tonight, since, we don't have any genealogy shows to talk about or anything like that, is we thought we would talk about what we've been doing, what our research, where our research has been taking us, any tips we may have, or any exciting news that we may have, or anything like that. So I was excited this past Saturday to watch the registration going on for SLIG. And for those of you who don't know anything about SLIG, SLIG is a Salt Lake Institute of Genealogy. And their registration was Saturday. And man, if you don't jump on those classes quickly, they are sold out. They have got some of the best teachers for these week-long institutes. They're different from conferences because a conference is where you go to different classes all day long and learn different topics and different things, where an institute is a week-long intensive study of one topic. So they get sold out really fast. So I was watching everybody, yay, I got into this class, yay. Oh, I'm on the wait list for this class. So we'll get the link to the registration in case you're interested and looking into it. I don't know if anything is available, but you can get on a wait list.
There are, I know, classes available. Probably, I think around 5 of them sold out. I might be wrong, but there's 15 different courses. I've got one. I'm excited. I'm taking one on reading German script and the Fraktur font for newspapers. And so I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. So you don't get that at a conference. You don't get the in-depth study, the homework that you'll get.
And the final exam, there's a test in this class. I was really surprised when I saw that on the agenda, but oh, okay. Well, I guess, yeah.
Well, maybe come January, because it's in January, you can buzz into GenFriends for a little bit and tell us how it's going, like you're going to have any time. But you never know.
Yeah, never know. And certainly the week after when I come back, I can tell you all about it.
I've gone to SLIG one time. I was lucky enough to get there one time, and I absolutely loved it. And my goal is to make it back. And they've also started something new, and that's the professional classes the week after. So they're starting a institute for professionals. Did you take any of those?
No, I'm a CPA, and it's hard enough for me to get 1 week away in January, but 2, I can't do.
Yeah. So. I wonder, did you notice, did those classes, did that take off okay, or?
I think one of them sold out, but I'm not positive. Can I put in a plug? That is one way to get professional education for professional genealogists. But another option, just if people aren't aware of it, is the Association of Professional Genealogists Professional Management Conference. And that is about, I think it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the first weekend in October. Yes. It will be in Kansas City this year, and they have some great offerings. They've got a writer's track. They've got a speaker's track. So if you didn't get into SLIG, or like me, that you can't spend an entire second week in January, or you don't want to go to Salt Lake City in January, there's a lot of people that are well put off by the potential weather. So that's another option and there's a National Archives in Kansas City. There's a lot of things to find. So
yeah, that's on my bucket list too. I want to attend one of those sometime, but it's it's the thing with work, trying to get off, and me with my kids trying to juggle. I mean, I still have kids at home, trying to get them to their there's school functions and things like that. So it's hard to take that much time. But yeah, there's a lot of great things out there. So I encourage everybody to just look and find out what kind of genealogy education is out there. There's something for everybody. There's absolutely something for everybody, whether you can travel or not. Even SLIG has some virtual classes that they've offered this year, and I'm going to take their virtual practicum in October. I'm a little nervous. I hope I can make it through because there's some really good people in that class that I'm going, oh no.
When I took that class, it's called the Advanced Evidence Practicum, and I took it in January, and the same cases that you will have. Monday, I felt like this. I was kind of smart. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
There's some really
Friday. I just Wednesday. I was like ready to get on a plane. I'm stupid. I can't do this. I don't even belong here.
Oh, that's what I'm dreading. But at least I get to do it from home, so I don't have to cry in front of people. We will just meet on Saturdays. So, but I'm really looking forward to it. But like I said, there is genealogy education out there for anybody, doing it from your home, going to these institutes and conferences. So find something that works for you, because we all find, no matter how long we've been doing it, there are things that we just don't know, or we haven't attempted it in that way before. So, get out there. Christine, you're being awful quiet. Tell us what you've been up to.
Well, it's kind of interesting listening to this because two things. One is I've been working behind the scenes on getting the Scottish Virtual Conference for 2019 organized and getting all the speakers ready for that.
Great.
Yeah, and when I was in Scotland, I was talking to some colleagues about the institutes here.
Mm-hmm.
And Dundee University is looking to maybe put an institute together on Scottish research.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think that would be really exciting.
That would be. So would that be something people would have to go to Scotland for, or are we talking about something that would be online? No, but I know, but that's what I'm saying. Cool. Or is it like online?
No, it would be in person.
Oh, wow.
And then in the afternoons, you would get the chance to go to the various family history centers, the university archives, the national archives to do your research. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That sounds fabulous.
Yeah, fun.
And when you get more information about that, you'll have to share it with us, and so people can know. And yours too, that you're working on now for 2019. That would be great.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah.
I did one this January, and it was really, really well attended. Mm-hmm. So I'm got all the speakers just lining them up for next year. So we'll announce that later.
Oh, cool. Exciting. I'm excited to hear who's going to speak.
What's really exciting, Cheri?
What's that?
That you and Melissa have added to your family trees the last week.
We have Melissa. About how old is your grandson?
He will be 3 weeks old Thursday.
Oh, so wonderful. And my identical twin granddaughters are they're a week old today. As a couple hours ago, they were exactly a week old. They're still in the NICU. They're not critical. They're just working out some issues of being premature, and they're hoping that they're going to be home on Thursday, which is sad for me because I'm going to be out of town. So we were hoping they'd be born, maybe have to spend a couple of days and then be home for several before we left, but it's not working out that way. But so we may have to do some kind of virtual talking back and forth as they're coming home. But they keep having these little issues of sleep apnea, and every time they do that, it's just really short, nothing but the little bells go off, and that means, okay, we've got to monitor them for a few more days. So we just think they're enjoying themselves. I don't know. It's nice and warm, There's plenty to eat. We're just
24-hour room service.
Exactly. My daughter and her husband were in there the other day, and they were actually had them for some weird reason on opposite sides of the room, and they've been close to each other. But they said one of them sneezed 3 times, achoo, 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 and the next thing they know, from across the room, they hear achoo, achoo.
Oh, that's cute.
So there's got to be something with this twin thing, and they've already started it. So they've already started it, but yeah, they're great, and we're excited. And I always wanted twins, and I never got them, and so now I get to live vicariously through my daughter and not have to do all the work. So hey, it works.
Well, congratulations, grandmas.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much. Christine, did you have anything else you wanted to share with us, or shall we move along?
But I'll listen, and then I can jump in if I need to.
Right. Sounds great. Sounds great. Let's Mary, you're next on my screen. So what you been up to?
Well, I am considering becoming a certified genealogist, and that, for those people who don't know, entails a portfolio. You need to put together a portfolio of various kinds of work samples. And it has to be 100% your own work, and you can't really talk to people about it. So I can't really talk about my research, what I'm doing. But I can say I am so excited about, I finished, one of the projects you have to do is a case study. And Saturday night at 10 minutes after midnight, I finished my case study. And then I was too excited to sleep that night.
I'll bet.
I just couldn't sleep. So I have citations in it that need a lot of work. In many instances, I just put, blah-diddy-blah's death certificate. And so now I got to go back. I got all those. And some of those are, 1930 census record is something I can generate pretty simple with my eyes closed, but some of them are much more complicated. And I'm really excited. I am going to an institute course, another institute, Genealogical Research Institute of Pittsburgh, also known as GRIP. And I am taking Tom Jones's Mastering Genealogical Documentation, which is an entire week of source citations.
Yeah, I need that. Oh, do I need to do that live with him? But he'd probably just say, just leave the class. I think that's one of my biggest weaknesses, is I think I've got it, and then somebody will come along and say, you need to tweak it just a little bit, but I'm trying.
Well, and one of the things I kind of feel like almost a marathon, that, not that I've ever done a marathon or would ever do a marathon, but that you want to get your body trained just to the right timing wise, so you're just haven't burned out before, or kind of at your peak when you go, or whatever kind of
that's a great tip.
Endeavor you're doing. And so, having just finished this thing, I have so many different source citations, and now I'm kind of going through and knocking them off, and then making a list. Well, I don't know how to do this, and I'd like to know more about that. Right. And so I think the learning at GRIP is going to be really good for me, because I'm going to have all these very fresh questions in my head, like, about how do I do this? That's so perfect. I'm really excited. And I will give one more tip.
Yeah, please do.
So I took the ProGen study course, and that was really good and really beneficial. And one of the things that we had to do was to write a case study for that, kind of a like what you would do for certification. And so I wrote my case study, and it was good enough that I felt like I wanted to submit it to the NGSQ.
Oh.
And so I did. And I got the reviewers' comments back. And to get those professionals' comments, I mean, they were so much higher level than what I got from my GRIP classmates. I mean, as well-intentioned as they are.
Yeah.
And so the case study that I'm actually doing for certification has some of the same issues and some of the same qualities. So, if you are considering certification and can write something like what you think your case study is going to be, with some of the same questions or issues or qualities, whether it's DNA evidence or whatever,
idea.
because basically somebody gave me all that knowledge for free. I mean, those reviewers.
That's a great idea.
Gave it to me for free. And so over and over as I've been working on this, I'm just keep saying to myself, I am so thankful I did that, because I feel so much further down the road. Now watch me fail certification, but whatever.
You know what? Hey, and so many people do. Judy Russell did the first time. So, it is what it is,
Right.
and you learn from it. And so I say that, but I would be devastated. But you know what, Mary? I'm surprised that you are not already certified. I was surprised when you said that you were going to, because in my head, I figured you were.
Well, thank you, but
so you got my vote. If I could vote, everybody on this panel got my vote.
The longest time I said, "Oh, I'm already a certified public accountant. One certification is enough for me." But as I get more into it, it's really kind of more just the personal challenge that I'm as smart as those people who are CGs, so I could do that. If they could do it, I could do it. So
I think for me, a lot of it would be just to see that I could do it, not because I thought I was better than anybody else, not that I thought whatever, but just to see if I could do it, just a personal thing, like anybody else wanting a degree or wanting to go to grad school or whatever. It would just be just for me, just to say, hey, I did it. Wow. So it's my 20th time, but I did it. So that's great. That's great. Well, we're rooting for you. So
thank you.
Keep us posted on all that.
Okay.
Yeah. All righty, Melissa, what you been up to?
Well, trying to get my unmute button going. Other than becoming a grandmother, several things going on right now. As everyone knows, I'm an archivist. I'm a certified archives manager. I work in archives every day, a county archives. And of course, we're smack dab in the middle of budget time, and so this is just a shout out to every genealogist that's listening. Visit and contact and use every single archive that's out there, because believe it or not, how much you use it depends on whether or not they are funded.
And it counts to email, right? And make phone calls.
We take statistics. Yeah, we take statistics of everything: phone calls, emails, Facebook messages, visitors that walk in the door, and we document what records are used, what records are requested, and things like that, because we have to go before our government body and ask to have our budget, for the next year. So that's just that little bit that's going on right now. Next, too, I wanted to say something that this is going to be really old, I guess, kind of. I never watched Who Do You Think You Are out of the UK. I've never seen one episode. And the other day, well, actually a few weeks ago, I was on YouTube, because I love YouTube. I like to watch teaching videos from archives and from genealogists on there. They're wonderful.
That's a great idea.
But I ran across Who Do You Think You Are from the UK, and the first one I watched was Robin Gibb, which was in season 1. And I thought, man, that was good. And so then I went and looked up Who Do You Think You Are in the UK, the seasons and who all was in the seasons. And I printed that out. And so I'm methodically going through whichever ones are on YouTube I'm watching, which tons of them are on YouTube. And I really hate to say this because I live in the United States, but I think these are better than the American ones.
They are. I have a spreadsheet of them, Melissa, and I got what the topics are, because after you watch so many of them, it's like, okay, was that the Boer War one, or was that Gallipoli, or the guy with the mason jars? And so
to me, they're, and like I said, I'm only like on season 3, but it's, to me, I don't know, to me they're better in that all the people are really engaged, and I don't mean just they're interested, they're really engaged, they're walking it, they're talking it, and some of these, they're just fantastic. So I'm watching those, but I'll tell everybody, there's tons of them on YouTube for free for anyone to watch. The other thing I'm doing that I had told Cheri before we started to talk about is a lot of our historical societies and other history institutions are going to be honoring and remembering World War I this year. I know that my historical society is planning a memorial service in October. And so with that, we've been trying to document every World War I soldier that left that's from our county and went to World War I. We've been trying to document every single one of them. And we have found that even the State Library and Archives, the Tennessee State Library and Archives has a database of World War I soldiers for every county in Tennessee. They don't have nearly the right amount that we should have for our county on there. So we've been able to document even more. But one of them was actually an ancestor of my husband, a great uncle, and his name is Jefferson Barker, and he went by Jeff Barker. I do not have a picture of him. I'm hopefully going to find one day. But he was on the World War I draft registration cards. He was born in 1895. And he enlisted here locally, and he did go to war overseas. On Ancestry, they have these ship manifests now that are on there. And I found that he went over on the ship, the Northumberland, in 1917. And then 2 months after he got off of that boat, that passenger ship was bombed and sunk.
Oh, wow.
During the war. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I found that he came back from France on the ship called the Pocahontas.
Oh.
So yeah, cool. So that was been cool. And so his life has been very interesting because he's been kind of described as a vagabond. And now I think a lot of it was because of his service in World War I, the effects. Because when I looked to see what regiment he was with and some of the things that are listed, he was severely wounded. Some of the battles he were in were pretty tough battles. And so I have sent away to the National Records Office in St. Louis for his military records. Now, I'm probably going to get that letter, we all got. But this is what I teach my students because this actually happened to me. I sent off for my husband's grandfather's records, which were World War II records. And I got the letter. There was a fire in 1973. There's no records. Well, a year or so later, I sent another letter because I wasn't that organized and I didn't realize I hadn't, that I'd already asked. So I sent another letter. I got the same letter. Well, silly me, a couple of years later, I did the same thing because I did not remember that I already done this. But do you know that I got records on the third time?
You're kidding. It pays to be disorganized sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, and I teach my students now because, we teach from our own experience.
True.
We teach from our own experience. And I teach my students, you know what? People, and this is nothing against anybody there, but people who work at these places, they're people. And they may get their thing and go, well, I'm just going to send this letter. Or who knows what they do.
Right.
So I tell people, wait a few months, wait a little bit, and then send another one. Because I also know.
I did see something recently that they found more pieces of things. Ooh. And
what they've done is because being in the archives world, you hear a lot of things maybe that's not out there, but I did not know this, but they saved all of the charred and bird records from the 1973 fire, and now they have technology that can read through the char and they can read the records. And so what they're doing is they're calling them reconstructed records.
Okay.
And so, if you have in the past sent letters and asked, and they sent you that form letter, request again. I highly encourage people to request.
I will, because I really feel like that's the only way I'm going to find one of my ancestors, because I have nothing. It's my my step-grandfather's father. He died when my step-grandfather was a child, and so did his mom. His name is Frank Sullivan. I mean, he thinks he may have been from Indiana or he may have been from Pennsylvania, but then he enlisted in Ohio. So I've got that, and I've got his discharge papers, and that's it. I have nothing else. And so you talking about, how all these places are starting to do these things for the anniversary of World War I, I might be able to find someplace in Ohio that has more information if they may be doing something. And he was stationed here at what was in Camp Jackson is Fort Jackson now. Maybe they're doing something and pulling some records that haven't been available before. So just listening to you talk about that, I'm going, ooh. I can do that because I literally, it's just, I know nothing. And I've just been hoping that perhaps somebody from his family is trying to figure out what happened to him and will find a blog post or something that I've written and go, because that's all I have. That is all I have.
But I encourage people to check, especially this year because of the commemoration, but check with state archives, state historical societies. Our Tennessee State Library and Archives is doing a program this whole year called Over Here, Over There. And what they're doing is they're traveling, the archivists are traveling from each county, each 95 counties in the state of Tennessee. They're going to each county, and then they're advertising before they get there. And they're saying, come to like the Civic Center or the City Hall, bring your World War I documents, photographs, artifacts, whatever you have, and they do the scanning, photographing, digitizing, and they hand them back to you. Then they go back to the Tennessee State Library and Archives, and they're putting this up on their website for free for anyone to see.
Wow. Now, I haven't heard any programs in South Carolina because he was discharged to here, and so I could do that if they were doing it. I need to talk to our archives and see why they're not doing anything. And that maybe they have, but maybe they haven't been getting the information out the way maybe they're, publicity on it isn't what it should be or something. But I know that he was in Ohio for a short period of time and he didn't live there. So there's not going to be anybody, a descendant or anything there, that would have anything that I know of anyway. So.
But that's what I've been doing other than, working in the archives. I'll tell you this, I had a gentleman and his sister come into the archives, and their niece was with them. Of course, the niece was older, was like, 30s. And they proceeded to tell me that he, when he was in college, was one of these regular sperm donors.
Oh.
And, I guess to sell I don't know, did they sell their sperm and, when they were in college to get extra money? Well, his niece his daughter, I'm sorry, it's his daughter, found him through DNA testing.
Wow. He's probably going to get a lot of that.
I know, I thought about that. But they came to the archive because they were doing research on some of their family. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
But it was so neat to hear their story and standing there in my archives because they were there doing research on some family that was from here. And they were telling me all about how she had done a DNA test and then connected with him on Ancestry. And now that, now they're just like best friends. And I thought, that is so great because you don't always get a good outcome.
No, you don't. Wow.
There's a movie out that's called Thank You for Coming. And it's about exactly that topic, about a woman who was searching for her sperm donor father, and she found him. Yeah. So, there's going to be a lot of that. Those guys that were 22 years old and needed $50 and
right, and they probably were told, "Hey, this is all confidential. They're never going to be able to find it." Yeah, we never think that technology is going to do. I mean, think about what's going to be going on 20 years from now, things we thought we couldn't do, and all of a sudden.
It was in the days when DNA was just something you read in a textbook, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, and interestingly, I mean, the guys that they were targeting for this were, medical students or whatever. So it's kind of, above average intelligence from most of those sperm donors.
I wonder how their families, I wonder if, they went on and they got married and they had kids again. Yeah. if they've ever said, I did this, especially with the DNA, you say to your wife, I could get a phone call. Do you let them know ahead of time, or do you just hope it doesn't happen? I don't know. Oh, that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. Well, you're lucky because you work in the small archives, so you can really hear these stories. The bigger archives, they're too busy, and it kind of, bogs down their work. And we tell people they don't want to hear your story. They just want to know what records you want to be pulled. They don't want to hear it. So, but you've got a small one, so you probably get lots of good stories.
Oh, I do. And I love listening and hearing them, because I can take the time to do that.
Sure.
But, it's fantastic. I just love it when they walk in the door and I get to help them. So it's just great.
I wish I had Horry County, South Carolina, does not have a county archive. Mm. Now, Coastal Carolina University has been trying. They would hear that and go, yes, we do. It's at Coastal Carolina University, but it's not the kind of archive that we think about there's some books on the shelves and they're trying to collect some things, but it's not like you can go in and have an archivist in there saying, I would like to look at these papers. They've got, microfilm rolls of newspapers and things like that, and there's nobody in there to help you. And so, I mean, they're trying the best they can, but there's not that courthouse or, where you can go in. As a matter of fact, our probate records have been from the 18 to 1900s have been taken off site and put into a records collection office in the next city over. And you can't go in there and research. You have to. I got in there because I called and said, I'm this professional genealogist and I need to look it over for clients. They won't let people in there. And I had to call the probate court and get permission from the judge to go in and look at these records. I wish they would put them up in the archives in Columbia so that people could go in and look at these records, have them available to everybody. So, but we don't have. I wish we did, because I would be hanging out there all the time. So that would be really fun. That'd be really fun. The closest that I've got that I really want to go dig into is in Sumter County, and that's about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours from me. And I was there once looking at deed records, and they have a basement. And I asked, can I go down in the basement and just see what's down there? And she goes, yeah, sure. Oh my gosh. There are probate packets just sitting there. There are books and books and books on shelves, just sitting on these shelves. And I come back upstairs, and my son's with me. He's going, Mom, stop touching everything down there. You're going to get us in trouble. So I came back up and I said, could I just come spend a week maybe and just go through everything? Because I've got all my lines go through Sumter before they go somewhere else. And so I could pick up probably any document, any book laying on a shelf, and there'd be something about somebody from my family. And they said I could come, so I'm going to do that sometime. But yeah.
But that's a good point, Cheri, because that's one thing that I really, really harp on a lot is genealogists asking, where are the records? Because if you didn't know they had a basement, you would not have known to ask, and you would not have known to ask to go down there. All the archives are not cookie cutter archives. They're not all the same, and all the records are not in the same places. So you've got to ask the question, where are the records?
And apparently in the same old courthouse, they have an attic, which scares me because it's going to be hot up there. And there's records up there, but they said they don't let anybody up there. And I said to them, well, somebody needs to get them out.
Yes.
So yeah, but I think for a lot of people, and you probably know this, that there's just not the staffing and the people and
the funding is the big thing. Like I talked about at the very beginning, the funding, they don't see the importance of it.
Yeah. So. I'll go for free. Let me go up there. I'll start hauling things down. I can stack them in the basement.
That's how I started. I started for free. I volunteered my time, and then they asked me to be the archivist. And so, go start that for free, and then maybe you could become an archivist yourself.
Wish it wasn't so far away. If it was someplace here in town, I'd be all over that. I'd be there bugging them every day. So, let's encourage everybody. Get out there. Get to those courthouses and those archives and see what they've got and what they need help with. So there's so much that we can do and then there's probably, I look at these things and I go, there are records in there that somebody needs. Somebody's family are in those books in that attic that they're not, I don't even know if they were ever microfilmed. They could just be the original books that were microfilmed and they're, on Family Search now or, up at the state archives. But there's nothing like opening those books and the waft of mildew here. So you've got so much humidity and the dust and your hands are black. But hey, that's and for those that need the gloves, Melissa was kind enough and sent some of us that were at Ristag last year some gloves. Yeah. So I've got those that I can take. But get into those places and get your researching done. So we've had some great tips on conferences and institutes and archives and World War I research and getting your certification and preparing for that And did I miss anything? I think we've had some good tips and a really good discussion tonight. And I really appreciate you being here and talking to us. And I think it'd be really fun if those of you out there watching would put in the comments what you've been up to, what you've been doing, and the things that you're learning, and share with us some of your tips. And we'd like to read those. That would be really fun. So with that said, thanks everybody for joining us for GenFriends, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.